Hello, Brother Monroe here. Welcome back to Ultimate Apple Dreadnoughts and to the British campaign. Well, you can probably hear that I'm not feeling very well. So apologies for coughs, sneezes. Oh, like that one. Oh, jeez. And yes, welcome back to the British Classic campaign. We moved to peacetime. I'll talk more about that in a second. But partly as a memorial to the lost Colossus class, but also partly to continue to expand the fleet. I want to look into the battlecruiser 5. And there's no reason to be cute about this ship. We might as well make it a huge mega ship. As is fitting. We want that tower. Do have turbo electrics, but probably not my best bet. Guns, we're going to stick with the 15-inch, I think. Although the superstructure on this ship is so huge, might actually have trouble, which seems ridiculous, but there you go. Lovely. There. Very standard for us. Fives. Good for a couple of fives. Threes. Fit reasonable number of threes. Yeah, this is basically AA guns though, isn't it? I have to admit it's not great for secondary armament. It's the biggest I can fit down there. A 3-inch. Which is pretty rubbish. Maybe we basically don't have a secondary battery on this thing, which is a little disappointing given its size. Maybe it's a more focused design than the Eternus. Just big guns and speed. Seems to be what suits the hull at the moment. Anyway, right. All the protection, please. And the improved powder. Radio direction finding. Well, that's quite fun. Right, armour. Obviously we want a maximum main belt. 3-inch should do there. Something of that nature. 5% over. Yeah, we could go down to 16, 14. Oh, okay, 137 tons to take off. There we go. Certainly paying for that speed. But, yes, I think an appropriate homage to the ship that we lost. And, yes, a nice addition to our battlecruiser fleet. Yes, very good, very good. Okay. Yes. I think that's because I started another design by accident. Yes, I did. So how many of these are we going to build? We have an empty shipyard. Let's build... Well, we've been building them in 2s and 3s, haven't we? So let's build 3. So this will be the new HMS Colossus. The surprise and... No, let's go with the leopard. We should build all of these in... Oh, I need to look at that. Well, let's build them in Rosyth, but apparently we have overloaded ports. Rosyth being one of them. Let's move those ships up to Scarborough Float. And the other one was Alexandria, interestingly. Okay, move the Violent and the Fusilier. Oh, actually, no. I know where I want to go. I want you here in Malta. I'm sure I sent them to Malta. Maybe the fleets merged without me noticing. Right, in terms of the fleet, we have scrapped the pre-dreadnought fleet, the Generation 1 and, well, the 12-inch armed dreadnoughts are mothballed at Portsmouth, apart from Dreadnought, which is still on the active list. I was hoping that Denmark would buy them. They said we want a brand new Agamemnon. Why they're not buying 4 of the ships that they could just have straight away for a less price, I have no idea. I will try and keep Dreadnought around as a museum ship, but yeah, I want to leave them mothballed for now to see if they get bought. The fleet has been mostly distributed. All of the armoured cruisers have been mothballed as being mostly useless. But I thought I had the experimental heavy cruiser, but I don't. So I popped a priority in cruiser design because armoured cruisers is really where we are lacking. Speaking of... get medium guns done as well. So yeah, let's prepare our cruiser forces for some action. Right. Well, that is pretty much all that's going on, though. Politics-wise, yeah, we're fairly friendly. Denmark, Norway, and Arabia are allied to us. France has a little collection of minor nations. Belgium, Persia are communist. Brazil and the Koreans are allied with the rump of the United States. So it's all pretty quiet. But that suits me because we have an awful lot of fleet reconstruction and stuff to do as we get new and better technologies. Welcome back. One thing I think we could definitely do with are more destroyers. So it is time for the D-class destroyer. 35 knots would be very spicy. But I don't know if we can pull that off. C-class are 33. But full oil, geared turbines, force boilers. Maybe we can. Right. Refit tower actually fits because I didn't. That's surprising. No, I did reduce beam. Okay, a funnel. And a tower. Probably, yeah. So I can mount some torpedoes midships. Now then, guns. Yeah, it's going to be the 4.7 again. It's proven very successful. Torpedoes. Oh, 24-inch. Yeah, let's do it. Big torpedoes. High cap HE, yes please. Yeah, double bottom hull, quite heavy, isn't it? Right, and then we're going to want two guns at the back. I'm going to want some armour. Lovely. It's just overweight, that's the only problem. Engines. Yeah, we can't go that fast. How about 33 knots? Wait, what? What just changed? Yeah, we could do 33 knots. Does reducing the draft help or hinder? Helps. Okay, we're going to have to reduce the draft as well then. Not a big fan of. Can we make the ship... Oh, I don't want to make it longer. 1750 seems like a good thing to target. Okay, that gets me within 6 tons. There we go. Reduce the number of shells, because we rarely get through them all. Oh, if I could shave off 9 tons. No. We'll go with that. D-class, very similar to the C-class. But they actually carry less torpedoes, interestingly. But they are big, fat torpedoes. Alright. Approved. Obviously we'll need a whole bunch of them. But I will do the naming off camera, which I'm sure you'll be thrilled to hear. We're about to get Light Cruiser 6. So potentially some more light cruisers as well. We're still plodding our way through this. But yeah, more destroyers, good. Because even though I already have 149 destroyers, it doesn't feel like I have enough destroyers. Because when I feel like I have enough destroyers when I mouse over any port and it says there's a destroyer there. So we need more. Welcome back. You might be wondering why you already done stuff over here. Well, I was trying to see if the Light Cruiser 6 would actually work, because I don't want them to be slower than the rivers. But at 9900, which is 9, can I get them to 10? If I noodle around a bit, there we go. Good. Because I would like to get some new light cruisers in. Ooh. Well, this is a better tower, but this one is fun and includes a barbette. Although I'm going to have to go with the smallest one. We'll need at least one funnel, possibly a second, just to boost the range a bit through efficiency. And then, oh yes, something like that. That looks pretty decent. So the rivers had 8 7-inch guns. Okay, now we do have access to the Mark IV 7-inch now, which is potentially quite spicy. And we can make it spicier by including a ludicrous number of 7-inch guns on the ship. Yes, how about 12? I could, in theory, fit some 2-inch guns, but I don't think I'm going to. Torpedo launchers down the side, perhaps? Not really enough room. All right, it's gonna be just all 7-inch then. Well, that's a lot of 7-inch firepower. Assume we want capitalistic. I'll check. Yes, we do. Okay, armor. Now, if an enemy rocks up with a 5-inch gun, they shouldn't be getting within 5,000 meters, so 1.5 should be fine. Something like that. Oh, wow. This thing is a monster. Good grief. You can even put mini bulkheads on it. That's a horrendously dangerous ship. Goodness me. I'm trying to think what on earth this would be close to. Or what to call it. Let me have a think. Right, I think this is good enough to start using some Patreon names. It's the War Pig class. Certainly, that's what the enemy's going to think about it, because this thing is horrible. Because those guns, maybe not all destroyers, but most destroyers, they can just delete at long range. And their AP, okay, yeah, if they come across another light cruiser, it's not quite enough to go through a ship's main belt, but you can certainly go through the extended, no problem. Even on like a battleship or something. I mean, most battleships don't have extended armor of more than 3 inch, so can potentially be useful against a wide variety of targets. Yeah, approved. How many of these can I fit? Let's build 10 of them. Again, I'll do all the names off camera. Where are the D class? Let me show those off. There we go. Well, there's all the D class, and I'll get all these guys named and continue to research heavy cruisers. Welcome back. One thing I've realised I should do is to get the Achilles class refitted. They're a little bit out of date. I still think they could be useful, though. Particularly, you know, port guard ship type of deal. So, we'll switch them from coal to oil. Turbines to geared. Superior auxiliary engine. Better steering. Better protection. That will all help them enormously. As will better propellants, bigger torpedoes, better rangefinders, RDF, all that good stuff. Now, next thing to look at are the guns. So we've currently got 6-inch singles. Now we could put on 6-inch Mark IVs, but we could also just put on the 7-inch gun that we've been using on the newer cruisers. Which one is it that fits? I know that one does, but it's quite big. It does not want to fit this one. Yeah, there you go. Because going from 4 6-inch guns to 8 7-inch guns is a pretty sizable upgrade. Although we do need to put armour on them. We can also upgrade the 2-inch guns. To 3-inch twins, which will up its transport murdering firepower considerably. Slightly overweight. Yeah, they're not as heavily protected as the newer cruisers, but that will definitely give them a new lease of life with advanced guns, big torpedoes, very nasty things. Yeah, that'll work. Because we do have a lot of them. I think we have 30 of these in service. Which, you know, is not nothing. I'm going to have to do this in 2 sets. I think that's right. Yep. So do half of them now, and then half of them once that's done. That will bring the Achilles up to snuff. We are going to get new Mark IV 4-inch, not too distant future, which means we can start refitting the destroyers as well. Certainly the older ones. The D-class, which just being built, don't need that as urgently. Yeah, I think everything's looking okay. Oh, dearie me, I'm tired. France and the US not happy with each other. US and the Soviets not happy with each other. Not that it matters. What we do need to keep an eye on are what the French are up to. So we have 13 battleships. That's 100%. 25 knot, well, yeah, 25 knot, 15-inch armed ships. We have 11 battle cruisers. It does include the 12-inch ones, but we massively outnumber them. We have no armed cruisers currently, which we need to fix. We have 42 light cruisers, which beats them, and 200 destroyers, which vastly outnumbers the French. So, not too worried about the French. Our economy is twice the size. Our army is huge compared to theirs. Thanks India and China and Indonesia. Yeah, I think everything looks very good for the post-war period. Welcome back. You maybe noticed we have some newer dreadnoughts, including the modernised dreadnought. I might be able to do something cheeky with a modernised dreadnought. As I think I'm going to have a look at the ships. But we could... I don't do it often, but you can rebuild ships on the modernised dreadnought rather than refitting them. It's a bit bonkers. And... we are not too far off the Mark III 15-inch. Anyway, that's not what I'm here for. What I'm here for is the Heavy Cruiser 1. Well, it looks like a battle cruiser. How appropriate. So these will be the Imperiers class, certainly. Let's call it the Imperial class. Now, I imagine that their job is going to be to smash up light cruisers. Things like the War Pig. So I want it to be able to do at least 30 knots, possibly more. Let's go for 12,000 tons. Balanced boiler. Yes, please. Now, could we push this to 32? Oh, that's a tough sell. 31 is doable. 32 is not. What about on reduce beam? Although on this hull, I don't like doing that. Nah, it's not worth it. Let's go 31. Ooh, well, this one, I guess, doesn't fit. That one does, though. Okay. A funnel. Zero tower could be awkward. I actually want this ship to be... Does it get longer? No. Might as well go for the full displacement. Got any other tower options? No, they're all... Well, actually, the modern tower might be a bit more sensible for this ship. I know it's not as good, but it's a lot lighter, and it's almost as good, and it's smaller. And I wasn't planning on using that many guns, because what we're going to do is going to use the new 8-inch gun, which is a Mark IV. We do have quads, which are hilarious. Triples are getting better, but they're still not quite there. So I'm going to go with an... What do you mean you can't fit an 8-inch gun? What is the use of you if you cannot fit an 8-inch gun? Does this one fit 8-inch guns? Yes. Rocket, I actually have no idea if this is possible. I know you'll be watching. The Modern Tower 4 for the British Heavy Cruiser 1, you might as well remove it as an option. If it, or make it fit 8-inch guns and bigger, because if this thing can't fit a standard heavy cruiser gun, then there's no point having it. Oh, yeah. So this is the same layout as the War Pigs, but with 8-inch guns. Well, I think it's only an inch. Yeah, but we are going to build this rather differently. We're gonna, or rather, we're gonna do the setup a bit differently, I think. Still gonna go for that. That. Now, let's do AP first. So we're at 135%. A light cruiser could have up to 6 inches of armor, so we're not quite there on the pen. But a super heavy 8-inch is at about 7,500 meters, and most light cruisers do not have 6 inches of main belt. So these guns immediately become quite nasty. Now they're 50s. I reckon we could lengthen them. What can we lengthen them to max? 56. Let's go for a 55. Yeah, now we can go through a light cruiser at 10,000 meters, which is not quite outside. That doesn't quite mean that a light cruiser can't get a torpedo attack off on us. They can, because some of the 24-inch torps have like a 12-kilometer range. But for anything that has something less than that, they're going to have to get in range. And we should be able to just delete them. Right, now, what about high explosive? Soft cap? No, I think we'll go cap ballistic. meaning that we can also do the job of removing light. We can go through extended armor, and we could also probably go through most destroyers. And then that's not particularly impressive, but sure, we can have some light anti-aircraft armament. There's no aircraft in the game. Light anti-transport guns, basically. Midships. Yeah, let's go 60s. Okay, armor. 10-inch main belt. Fancy. Go 2. 4 aft and superstructure. Against our own guns, 8 is okay, but if we could get 10, that would be... Actually, we could trim that down to 8, to be honest. The enemy ship of this type would have to get within 5,000 meters to do that. And if the turrets are 10, then they should be proof against 8-inch guns. We are a bit overweight. % overweight. Fuel, etc. Now, we kind of want fuel. We kind of want this kind of setup. That makes it way too heavy, though. I have to go back a knot of speed. Doesn't get me that much, though, does it? Does get me some, though. 25,755 is pretty good range-wise. What is it on minimum? 17. It's not the end of the world. I would like more than standard bulkheads. Standard bulkheads is okay, though. I think when we get better, lighter engines... The other option, of course, would be to take 2 of the turrets off, put a secondary gun up here, and more heavily armour the ship. Because we are very gun heavy. Take those off and fit a couple of 5.25s potentially, but we have 4-inch Mark 4s that I think make more sense. .7-inch 50 caliber 55s. Yeah, 55s. Just for some punch. Lowers the center of gravity of the ship. Not that that's a thing in dreadnoughts, but it gives me more displacement to play with to get the maximum bulkheads in, which I think is important. And maybe 43 tons. Oh, shit. Oof. Fine. Oh, I'm gonna put some armor on these. 6. There we go. So, slightly different from my initial design. Maybe you preferred the first one. Let me know in the comments. But I I think getting that extra protection, that extra knot of speed, can actually be really, really useful. Just out of interest, if I went back to 30... No. Okay. We'll go 31. Maybe when we get double-geared steam turbines, we'll be able to make this ship a little bit more efficient. But yeah, this is going for hitting power over the sheer mass of shells that a war pig can put out. They're not that much more expensive than a war pig. They're 1 knot slower. They're much harder to kill, and they hit harder, but not as quickly. Basically, so I see them. They are almost a light cruiser in a lot of ways, apart from the fact that they are very, very chunky, hard to deal with, and of course they've got anti-torpedo belts, which the war pigs do not. All right, approved. We'll see how they do. Now, given that we have no armoured cruisers at all, the French have 11. We want to have more than that. So I'm going to build, let's say 15 of these. There we go. I will do names off screen. There are the war pigs, by the way. Yeah, I will think of dates for this in between episodes. I'm going to say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Bye for now.